four major items. I will start the session with the overall background of the KV MRT project, followed by MRT Putrajaya Line status update. Then I will touch on the project challenges before I discuss the Bim Best Practices. Okay. I will take about 50 minutes to cover these topics and hope you can enjoy the rest of the presentation. If you don't mind, I will leave the Q&A session at the end of the session. First of all, I would like to give you an overview of KVMRT project. As you may know, the MRT system is envisaged to radically improve and transform Kuala Lumpur public transportation coverage. The government has planned a three-line mass rapid transit system in Greater Kuala Lumpur, comprises of two northwest-southeast radial lines and one circle line looping around Kuala Lumpur. The project reached a significant milestone when the full MRT Kajang line was launched on 17 July 2017, and the second line of the MRT Putrajaya is currently under extensive testing and commissioning. Recently, the government has approved the construction of MRT 3 on 4th of March 2022, and the MRT 3 planned to be operational fully by 2030. The MRT 3 will link the existing MRT 1 and MRT 2 lines into a one giant loop around Greater Klang Valley to complete the rail networks. The government has established Mass Rapid Transit Corporation to implement this project. MRT Corp is a special purpose vehicle under Ministry of Finance Incorporated. Is tasked to become the developer and the asset owner of the KV MRT project. We are responsible for the planning, development, and the construction, monitoring of MRT infrastructures and assets. These include monitoring, tracking, and also the delivery of the construction of all elevated structures, underground works, which involve tunneling and construction of underground station, depots of the MRT projects. In this project, we work closely with Land Public Transport Agency, APAD, and our turnkey contractor, which is MMC Gamuda KVMRT, who manage the elevated, underground, depot, and system contractor together with its design consultants. Shown here is the entire KVMRT alignment for both MRT Kajang line and MRT Putrajaya line. The Kajang line displayed in green was opened to public back in 2017, and the Putrajaya line displayed in red is currently under testing and commissioning, due for completion by the end of this year. I think this is the interesting news for the construction industry today, where the government has made announcement on the MRT 3 project. And this MRT 3 project will have a 51-kilometer circular alignment covering the perimeter of KL, and it is planned to be fully operational by 2030, with the first phase of the project will begin very close, and also what we are going to have back in the 2030, that will be the fully operational, and the first phase of the project will operate in 2028. The project will consist of the 41-kilometer elevated tracks and 11-kilometer of underground tunnel, which 31 stations will be built, And from 31 stations, there will be 10 stations for the interchange station, which comprise of the existing lines in Klang Valley. Okay, next, I will cover on the MRT Putrajaya line project updates. This is shown here in the screen. This is one of the many MRT Putrajaya line elevated station. And this elevated station architecture was inspired by the concept of the Serambi at our Rumah Kampung or Rumah Panjang. This concept provide open space, natural lightings, ventilations, and also natural visual effect via play of lights and shadows. So the SSP alignment will start from the existing Sungai Buloh depot, and it will pass through the residential area in the northwest of Klang Valley. Then it will pass through suburbs, mainly residential area. Once it reaches the city center, the train will start going from the north portal, going to the major commercial area, including KLCC, TRX, and back to the elevated alignment at the south portal. The line will continue towards the southeast of Klang Valley, which pass through the suburbs, mainly residential area, university, second depot at Kajang, and before terminating at Putrajaya, our government administrative centers. The MRT Putrajaya line project, phase 1, covers the stretch between Kuasa Damansara and Kampung Batu station. And this has reached 99% construction progress. And the MRT train has clocked over 3,000 hours of the trial operation, and a large amount of data has been gathered. Our system team has gone through the data, and we detected out of 100 of system module being implemented, 2 module required further enhancement or refinement. We need to ensure all primary, secondary, and tertiary layers of system are stable before we can take possession of the asset and clear it for the operation. Meanwhile, the construction of the MRT Putrajaya line phase 2 is also progressing well, and it is expected to begin operation later this year. And here are some quick updates on the project progress. So this is the aerial view of the Serdang depot. Some of the view from the Kampung Batu station and Sri Damansara Central Station. View of the inside platform area of the Sedang Raya Utara and also Sungai Besi Station. Some view of the MRT3 passing the culvert, box culvert near the Taman University Station, and also some of the interior view of the MRT coach. This is some view of the underground station. This is coming from the Sentul Barat station on the platform level. Also for the concourse level for the Sentul Barat. And then this is some progress on the Titi Wangsa station, where we have completed the escalator installation, and also together at the MRT HKL station. Some views at the Raja Uda station, and also exterior view of the Ampang Park station. And then some view on the completed ceiling installation at the Conley station. And also some view of the Bandar Malaysia Selatan station. And then this is our current progress at the Bandar Malaysia Utara. And then this is one of the station bench installation that we have in one of the station. Okay, now I would like to share some challenges that faced by the MRT Putrajaya line project in managing infrastructure project, and how BIM has become a valuable tools to overcome all these challenges. The MRT Putrajaya consists of over 1,000 multidisciplinary professionals like architects, engineers, planners, geologists, and controllers. These people are the heart of the MRT Putrajaya line, and they are responsible to deliver the project to the government of Malaysia. Our work involved in the design and the construction of the SSP line underground, elevated guideways, depot, tunnels, and station, as well the electrical and mechanical system required for a fully functional railway system. It is important to us to make the information available across the project accurately, up to date, and no misinterpretation between the stakeholder. We need to ensure the design information, as-built information, and as-built validation are being managed and are being kept within the project as the MRT structures, and station will have a long lifespan, which is 120 years. Next, I will touch on the technical complexity of the design. This illustration provides of how complex it is to design and to construct the MRT station. This involves a cross-functional, multidisciplinary field within a tight schedule. The engineering design information need to be organized in a systematic and structured way so that it is easy to retrieve. The attribute of the projects need to be updated correctly according to the project classification requirement. To overcome these challenges, MRT Corp has embarked on the digital engineering program for our engineering design and construction for this project. And to tell you about our program, we have prepared a 3-minute video on this program. Oh, 3 minit. The main objective of our digital engineering program is to improve MRT Putrajaya Line project productivity by 35%. In order for us to achieve this, we are pushing 6 digital engineering initiatives into our project. The first one, we are mandating the use of BIM Level 2 framework for our underground and system works to carry the process in the Common Data Environment, CDE, following BS 1192 standard. Secondly, we develop GIS web portal to host all our design engineering, information, utilities, as-built, and construction models. Thirdly, we utilize reality model for drone, site progress, and monitoring. Fourthly, we are using 3D laser scanning for the BIM model validation and as-built model scanning. And fifthly, together with our contractor, we are pushing construction dashboard reporting and also the progress update in the construction systems. And finally, we push the use of mobile application for the digitalization for the construction form, permits, and approval at site by our contractors. Now, I think I would like to focus my presentation on our main topic of the day, which is BIM Best Practices. So these BIM Best Practices, I think that will be coming from our lens from the MRT Putrajaya Line project as the project developer and asset owner. So let me start. I think the practitioner knows that BIM basically consists of the set of procedures, process, people, and technology that are capable to manage the design and the data of a project in digital format throughout the whole project life cycle. The MRT Putrajaya Line project has developed a robust BIM Level 2 process which allow collaboration among various engineers and designers together with the developer and to develop the comprehensive documentation and also models as BIM information requirement, project glossary, and classification codes. The project also invests on the latest technology to increase the productivity, efficiencies, and reduce rework in the design, construction, and the operations of the MRT Putrajaya line, which allow seamless information exchange and real-time collaboration among stakeholders, regardless the platforms and the location. For us, it all started with Bim Strategies and Bim framework. Shown here is the high level of the Bim framework, which comprises of key component of Bim workflow and processes, and its stage and key deliverables. I will touch some of these key components in the next slide during this session. Okay, so let's talk about the first one, which is the process. That will be focusing on the vision, the BIM vision. So for the BIM vision, we have started with the BIM employer requirement. So the need of BIM is basically clearly specified in the tender document, and this has formed as part of the contract document. We have mandated the use of BIM process for the MRT Putrajaya Line project as specified in our employer requirement, which is the tender document, and specified that BIM standards shall be adopted for the information exchange and sharing of the BIM model, as well as the updated as-built information throughout the common data environment provided by the employers. So that is, I think, high-level clause. We also have a very detailed clause talking about what is the BIM process, what is the BIM protocol, standards, deliverables, and so on in this particular specification. And then the contractors prepare and submit the BIM execution plan before commencing the works. The BEP is a live document, and we have been going through of revision as the project progress. As the BEP is crucial document, this document will need to go through to the approval process, and this is basically before any changes or any updates can be adopted. So like any processes, we will go through the review and also the approve. Similar with our BEP, we have all this information in place. During this project, the process also involved in the development of the project guideline and also standards. So among them, that what we have been successfully developed during this project. That is on the development of our project centralized document control, project glossary, system tagging and labeling, and also BIM classification guide. So these are amongst key deliverables standards that we have established during the course of the project. We also among the first in the region and a very few in the world to implement BIM level 2 workflows. And we have attained BIM level 2 certification as the first owner appointing party in Asia in December 2018, and we are in the process of updating the certification to the new ISO 19650 standards. As 2019, the ISO 19650 standard was released globally to replace the BS 1192 standard, which has been published almost 14 years ago. Many best practices have evolved since then, and this has been incorporated in ISO 19650. We have kicked off our program for the ISO 19650 certification, and we hope that we can obtain the certification within this year. The ISO 19650 will make MRT Corp continues to be BIM ready organization and execute BIM process according to the ISO standard from the beginning of the MRT3 project, inshallah. Next, on the process, we are going to talk about the project structures. So for the governance and also the BIM structures, shown here is the high level of BIM framework comprises of these elements. We have two committees or two structures. The first structures that is BIM steering committee, and the next structures that is BIM working group committee. So let's touch on the BIM steering committee. The BIM steering committee comprises of executive member from key main project stakeholder and real specialist advisor who are able to provide opinion on best industry practice to the board of directors. The steering committee in our project is presently chaired by our Director of Standard and Compliance. And for the next structures, the BIM Working Group Committee and BIM Working Committee comprises of working level and technical personnel from all disciplines, from MRT Corp and turnkey contractors. This committee will be responsible to the delivery of BIM in the project. This group meets every month to discuss issue around BIM implementation, and also our BIM working group also stand for the project glossary committee, which is to review and approve any changes in the abbreviation or acronym used throughout the projects. Next, on the process, we'd like to touch on the BIM timeline. So it's basically this is the general BIM timeline, and it will varies between project to project. But what we have shown here is basically our project timeline, which will give you some ideas on how the overall BIM process in MRT Putrajaya Line project. Next, we are going to touch on our process. So the use of 3D laser scanning for the modeling of existing conditions. We utilize 3D laser scanning mainly for the S-bit scanning, and this technology allows accurate, comprehensive, detailed 3D model using a modern laser scanning that collects structures in millions of point cloud. So this video is basically, we are using 3D laser scanning for the use of the design team for the TT Wangsa station. Next, on the process, I think that would be very typical practice in BIM, where one of the purpose of BIM is basically to have the VDR session. I think most of the practitioner knows what is the VDR. So VDR basically is aimed to coordinate and resolve clash virtually, and all issues are basically recorded in web-based issue management tools, and this software will be able to track the current status of the issues and also status by the respective discipline, and to find out the due date and also the clash date for this one. Yep. Next item for the 3D modeling. Like any BIM, our project is consists of the civil and structures model, and then we also have the architecture model, and we also have the MEP model, and finally we also have the system frameworks model. So what you have seen here is basically the federated model of the all services for the Persiaran KLCC station. So each respective design consultant will coordinate the design requirement, perform individual 3D modeling according to the design, to the specification, to the design criteria. And then this process later on will be checked and verified by the design consultants and also the contractors, and then to confirm the coordination and also the placement of all services of the items in the models. Next one, from the perspective of the process, we would like to touch on the drawing production. So for the drawing production, if you can see on my slides, basically I've split it into 3 items. First one, the process for the design item. Second one, that will be on the construction item. And the third one, that is on the as-built stage. So it's basically each respective consultant will coordinate the design requirement, perform the 3D updating according to the criteria, and then the process later on will be inspected and then be checked by the respective consultants and will be submitted for approval. Moving to the next stage, to the construction, the TC, the turnkey contractors, will have the review, will have the what they call it, the updates, and then later on, once they are ready, they will submit this information as part of the document official submission. For the process and also the audit compliance, so we are also running the yearly audit to our contractors. So the area of inspection in the design stage, normally we will review on the BIM execution plan, we will review on the BIM workflows, and then we will review on the models and also the data controls. And then on the construction stage, the primary item that we are going to check, that will be on the verification of the model using 3D laser scanning, and also the verification of the as-built model audits. And then at the as-built stage, we will to confirm and also to verify all the models, as-built models and as-built drawing are conform to our contracts requirement. Next, on the technology dimension, I will have the CDE structures here. So this CDE basically will have the CDE for the model management, information management, and also for the operation and maintenance management. So what we have in our project, we have the project-wise to host the model management, and we will have the asset-wise EB for the information management, and CMMS for the O&M management. And what we are doing here is basically we are interfacing all these 3 items, and all this information are basically interchangeable across platform. So these are some of the CDE workflows that we have. This is basically for the model management of the design drawing, model exchange, and also the workflow process. So basically what these charts tell you, the detailed process in terms of how our shared internal and shared external process before it goes to the drawing production. And after we have the drawing production in green, and then that information will transfer to the asset information, which is in yellow, before it is submitted as a document in the Econex, which is in gray. So basically that is the stage that we have for the information management in our project. And then for the technology component of the CDE infrastructures, for this one, we are going to, we use the cloud platform which utilize Microsoft Azure for our CDE implementation. And for our CDE implementation, we utilize multi-factor authentication to the registered user, so that all the registered users will have to use a smartphone and also the biometric features to authenticate themselves before logging into our CDE. So it's basically this is improved security features in our project. And then for the technology ecosystem or software ecosystem, we'll have a various of software coming from the Autodesk, coming from Bentley, coming from Equinix, coming from Esri. And then this basically depending on the level of the use, stage of the project, this software will be used accordingly. Next, I would like to touch on the digital twin. Our Putrajaya Line project also utilize advanced technologies such as the laser scanning, augmented reality, drone, and also reality model. The laser scan project the project use laser scan basically to capture the data set and also to coordinate the design from the contractors. During the construction, this information basically we use to make the comparison from the model and also as-built scanning. So what you have seen here is one of the station for the Chan Sao Lin and also Ampang Park station, where the process of validating and also checking of the model verification and also the quality of the construction are being verified by laser scanning technologies. And also this is basically helps during the pandemic time, where we are able to use this virtual scan to inspect our site remotely. And then for the augmented reality, what we have in our project, the contractor has developed a virtual site walk during using the AR application. And this is basically utilizing the BIM model, where the BIM model are basically being uploaded into this particular AR application. And this application is being used by our construction team to validate the steel frame before following the design model before pouring the concrete. So it's basically this is virtual site walk conducted by the construction team. So basically these are some examples that can be used, and also the contractors also use the what they call it to confirm the structure opening for the MEP equipment before it go through and also being construct through, yeah, and also any identified potential clashes in the projects. And then for the digital twin on the drone, we are pushing our boundaries and setting up benchmark in various aspects of the project development. Among them, we use the reality model. The reality model basically used for the drone imagery reality mesh software. And then these software are basically being used by our engineers and also our contractors to review the current progress at site, conduct visual inspection, perform measurement, and review stockpile volume. What you see here is basically the reality model of the Titiwangsa station, and you can get the dimension of the 3D distance. Yeah. And then we also use the GIS technology for our project. This is basically to capture all information in a web base. What we have, a street map, an aerial photography, a 3D reality model into a unified 3D GIS viewer. So our team has been used this information heavily from site office, design office, and also to understand the current context of the project, review site progress, and also inspect the site incidents. In this video, you will see all the engineering design in BIM model being published into a web base. And this BIM model, basically the architecture model, and then the structure model. And also we have the tunnel model in this one. This is very detailed and complex. Not just a model, we also have the attributes and also the classification code into the BIM model, into this viewer. So this will help our project team to understand the information provided in the GIS systems. Next, I will touch on the people dimension of BIMs. The key success of our BIM implementation is on our people. We have a strong support from our top management, and this is started from the project inception stage, where our top management has conducted an organization learning with similar metro and transit organization in the UK on their BIM implementation. So shown in this photo is basically our former Chief Financial Officer and our leadership team conducting BIM fact-finding session and technical visit to Crossrail Limited back in 2015 and 2016. So why it's important to incorporate or involve high-level and top management? Basically, we need to get full support and also full funding for BIM implementation in our project. Next, we are also establishing the BIM in Rail Academy, BIRAC, with the objective of to promote the awareness and upskill Malaysian contractors and consultants on the workflow management to facilitate BIM implementation in the Putrajaya Line project. BIRAC program is a 3-year program delivered through a strategic partnership with CIDB MyBIM Center and oversight by the Technology Development Agency TDA, Berhad. So over 1,100 participants have gained their attendance in BIRAC, and these modules are basically delivered through a comprehensive and structured approach of the learning using BIM technology from Autodesk and Bentley, and also what we have at the end of the training program, we have conducted a survey to evaluate the effectiveness of our training. And then from the implementations, we were very pleased to get a positive feedback from our participant that 92% of responded feel the BIRAC training has increased the participant BIM skill set to another level and empowered them with the required industry knowledge. So this is one of the people's success in the project to continue learning and development. And we are also involved in the local talent development, where we are having an academic collaboration program, MOU, with UTM and also UPM. So it's basically the area of the collaboration mainly on the education and also the research program with these two universities. And on the people dimension, we are also active in the awareness and recognition. So among them is the conducting of the BIM awareness activities such as BIM Awareness Day and also BIM Day for MRT Corp. So these activities are to help our project members to upskill their BIM knowledge, a part of our classroom courses. And also we also awarded our work package contractors and consultants who has performed well in the BIM level 2 assessment during our course of projects. Okay, the next dimension of the people, basically we would like to touch on the recognition. So the MRT Putrajaya Line project has been recognized as the industry leaders in the digital technology implementation, such as building information modeling level 2 and GIS implementation. And this project has won various global awards back in 2017 and 2018. So it's basically the motivation for us to being recognized is basically to be part of our testament of the project. Basically, we would like to continue to use the project to improve the project productivity and efficiencies. And then we also encourage the construction industry to start adopting these technologies too, basically. So now we have come to our end of the presentation. I hope that you have gained some new knowledge today on how MRT Corp has applied BIM technology and its best practices applied by the MRT Putrajaya Line project. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I would like look forward to see you on board of the MRT Putrajaya train soon. Thank you.